You ever wake up to the sound of a helicopter so loud it rattles your coffee cup right off the counter? Because that's how my Saturday started, and let me tell you, nothing says, "Welcome to the suburbs." Quite like military-grade rotor blades turning your peaceful cul-de-sac into something straight out of an action movie. Neighbors stumbling out in slippers, dogs barking, folks in pajama pants waving iPhones around trying to catch whatever insanity was about to unfold. But you know the real kicker. All that chaos, every gasp, every cheer, every camera phone held up to the sky wasn't about some emergency or lost criminal on the run. No, it was about a car and a woman named Karen, or, as I like to call her, Her Royal Highness of the HOA. Now, if you've never tangled with a real HOA president, count your blessings. Imagine a circus, but all the clowns are neighbors, and the ringmaster's armed with a clipboard and an overinflated sense of purpose. That's Karen, queen of the neighborhood enforcer of Shrubbery Heights, the woman who once threatened to fine my daughter for leaving sidewalk chalk art on the curb. She didn't invent the rules, she just decided to make them her personal religion. I'd lived in Maple Rest 15 years back before folks even cared whether your mailbox matched your front door when neighbors looked out for each other instead of peering over the fence with a ruler. But that all changed the day Karen arrived, hairsprayed, solid smile, sharp as a staple, strutting down the sidewalk like she owned the asphalt itself. Honestly, my run-ins with her had mostly been petty up to that point. She didn't like my roses, said they were too wild, claimed they violated community aesthetics. I told her the roses had been here before her and before her rule book, but she just snorted, "Rules are rules." That's how she said it too, like the phrase tasted good on her tongue. But what she meant was, rules are for you, not for me. So when I stepped out one Tuesday morning, coffee in hand, and saw her gleaming white Lexus parked sideways across both my garage doors, blocking me in so perfectly you'd think she'd measured it with a protractor, I knew right away this wasn't about flowers. And sure enough, stuck under my windshield wiper was a note, all block letters. Maybe this will remind you that no one is above HOA compliance. Trim the roses or next time I'll have your car booted. HOA President Karen. You ever see red so fast you almost laugh? That was me, nearly choking on my coffee as neighbors peeked out to watch the drama unfold. By mid-morning, half of the block was outside, some walking dogs, others watering their lawns, but really everyone just hungry for the show. A couple teenagers filmed the whole thing, narrating like it was the Super Bowl. I called out to Karen across the street, trying to keep it light. "Hey, Karen, any chance you could move your tank off my driveway?" She didn't miss a beat, marched out in sunglasses, clipboard under her arm, and announced, "This is a lawful immobilization of property. You refuse to comply with HOA standards, so your access is revoked." I blinked. Revoked. My own garage. The neighbors snickered. Karen didn't care. "You signed the covenant. The HOA has rights." I set my coffee on her Lexus gently. Mind you, she gasped so loud you'd think I'd kicked her dog. "Move it, or I'll have it towed," I said. She just smiled all teeth. I already called the towing company. "They won't touch my car. They work for us." Then she turned and disappeared, leaving her SUV sprawled across my driveway like a golden retriever that refuses to get off your couch. You ever had your pride wounded so bad you get creative? Because that's what happened to me. That afternoon, as the sun set behind her Lexus, still blocking my garage, still gleaming like a trophy, I realized I wasn't just being punished over roses. This was about power. Karen wanted everyone to see who was in charge, who could make the rules stick, who could get away with blocking your driveway for days on end. And I'll admit, for a moment, it worked. Folks whispered that I was done for. Some shook their heads, some grinned, all of them waiting for the next act in the Karen show. But see, what Karen didn't know is I don't break, I build. Give me a roadblock and I'll turn it into a ramp. By day 2, her Lexus was more than just a car. It was a monument. Kids circled on bikes, joggers snapped photos. One neighbor set up a lawn chair with lemonade just to narrate the action. Karen, she loved it. Marched around in a pink tracksuit, told anyone who'd listen. This is what happens when you ignore the rules. Never mind the fact that her rules were mostly power plays with a dash of petty vengeance. She even held court out front, lecturing neighbors about the color of their recycling bins, all while her car blocked my property like a velvet rope. I tried the police. I mean, what else do you do? But they just chuckled. Civil matter, sir. I checked with every towing company in town, but Karen had already called them off, contracted them under the HOA. I was boxed in, literally and legally. That's when I realized sometimes you can't play by the rule book, especially when the rule book's stacked against you. Sometimes you need a little, let's say, altitude adjustment. Now here's the twist, my secret weapon. See, I run a small contracting business. Cranes, forklifts, dump trucks, you name it. And I've got an old buddy, Rodney Roeder Alvarez, who runs a helicopter lift service out by the rail yards. You want something moved heavy or delicate? Rodney's your guy. So I gave him a call, laid out the problem, and asked, "You think you could airlift a car?" He laughed at first, but when I said it was for an HOA president's Lexus blocking my driveway and that it was technically trespassing, he got real quiet. "Send me the address," he said. "We'll make it happen." We picked Saturday morning prime viewing time. I dropped hints to a few trusted neighbors, told old Mr. Jenkins to have his phone ready, but otherwise played it cool. Every time I passed Karen, I acted defeated. She ate it up, strutted a little taller, waved at me like the queen waving from her balcony. She had no idea the show was about to start. That morning the neighborhood felt like a fuse burning down. Sun was shining, birds chirping, Karen outside sipping some neon green swamp smoothie and crowing about compliance. But I just watered my roses, waved at the growing crowd, and waited. 9 Huzru sharp. The sky started to rumble. At first just a distant whump, whump, whump. Then it got louder, so loud the mailboxes rattled. Folks looked up, hands shading their eyes, jaws dropping as Rodney's helicopter swept over the treetops, sun glinting off the windshield, downdraft flattening the grass. Karen started shrieking before the chopper even landed. "This is a residential neighborhood. Who authorized this?" Rodney's crew rappelled down, cool as you please, chains and straps ready, and in less than 2 minutes had that Lexus hooked up tighter than a drum. The crowd was going wild, phones everywhere, people cheering. Karen. She lost it. "That's my car. I'm the HOA president. I demand you stop." Her voice was lost in the rotor wash as the helicopter lifted her precious Lexus off the ground, up, 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 gleaming like a trophy in the morning light. The neighbors erupted, clapping, whistling. Someone even sang the theme to Rocky. Jenkins was giving play-by-play like it was the World Series. Karen collapsed in the middle of the street, robe flapping, mascara running, screaming threats about lawsuits, police, city hall. None of it mattered. I stood on my porch sipping coffee, bathrobe open, watching as her empire rose into the sky. And here's where the real twist hit. Folks thought that was the end. The chopper would just set the car down at an impound lot and call it a day. Not quite. See, Karen's biggest enabler was the mayor, her golfing buddy, her campaign sponsor, the man who let her run wild. Rodney took the Lexus right over to the mayor's estate just in time for his Saturday brunch fancy guests, string quartet champagne, the whole 9 yards. The helicopter descended, sending napkins flying, lawn chairs tumbling, and plopped that Lexus dead center on the mayor's precious front lawn. Phones went wild, Twitter exploded, and by evening, the story was everywhere. Karen's Lexus airlifted from her HOA power trip, now a centerpiece in a political scandal. After that, things unraveled quick. The mayor fined Karen for damaging his lawn, distanced himself on live TV, and called for an investigation into HOA abuses. Karen tried to rally her board, but folks finally spoke up. One woman even said, "Karen, you blocked his driveway." What did you expect? The board stripped her of her title that night. By the end of the week, she was facing trespassing and public nuisance charges. Even her allies jumped ship. The best part. The neighborhood changed. Kids rode past chanting Mayor's Lawn Lexus. Parents waved at me instead of looking away. Karen moped around for a while, but eventually she sold the Lexus, then her house. The day the moving truck left, folks came out and waved not in sadness but relief. Now, maybe you think I went too far. Maybe you think it was all just neighborly drama that got out of hand. But let me ask you this. How long do you let a bully push before you push back? Sometimes it takes a little creative payback, a little risk, and a whole lot of nerve to break the spell of fear and get your peace back. Bullies thrive on silence. But the moment you shine a light, especially from a helicopter, the whole game changes. So what's the wildest HOA or neighborhood drama you've ever witnessed? Was there a Karen, or did you ever have to pull a stunt to get your rights back? Drop your story in the comments, because trust me, there's a whole world of HOA legends out there just waiting to be told. And if you got a kick out of this, hit that subscribe, because around here the drama doesn't just stay on the ground. Sometimes it takes flight.